Hey, what's up, it's Rashad? Antonio, we're back. Shogun on FX Chapter 5, Broken to the Fist. All spoilers, man. I'm gonna keep on saying this. This is top tier TV, man. Like,
Yes.
and I know it's not a lot. It's funny because there's not a lot of people covering this. This is like a passion project for us because ironically, Tony, on YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
people be checking off for this. So if you've seen the last couple episodes of this, man, you back to hear our, our convoluted opinion on this somewhat confusing show at times. Thank you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We appreciate it because we're here with you to help the people. You know what
And
I'm
like
saying?
Rashad said, it's a passion project. And I
It,
think
it
this
is because, like,
and I think this
I
goes
can't
back
make
for
no social on this. Can't cut
I
nothing up for this.
yeah, I think this is kind of like a passion project thing, and then too, our love is being kids growing up in that era of Saturday afternoon, Saturday morning kung fu flicks.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Even though we know this is based in Japan or whatever, but those type of saying those type of movies, like the Five Deadly Venoms, my favorite old goat.
Seven Belows of the
You know,
Dragon.
what I'm saying? Shogun Assassin when I was little.
Mm-hmm.
My father. So yeah, so man, like you said, this show is so good. I want to shout out my homie, my coworker Michelle. She's a film director herself. All last week, like leading up, I kept saying, Michelle, you need to get up on this. She was like, I know I'm just behind on stuff or whatever. So this past weekend, she actually got caught up on it. And Monday morning when I went to work, all she said to me was, "We go to war." And I said, and I just started clapping because she knew. And she was like, I don't know what my brother was saying. She was saying her brother was like, I like it, but it seems like it's missing something. But you say, Antonio, how good it is, and this and that. And then she was like, I don't know what the hell he was talking about. This show is fantastic. So, shout out to Michelle who's on board with this. But yeah.
So we back in Toranaga's back with the army. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Back in Ajiro. And his son is back there too.
Yeah, Nagakado, man. This little
Yo,
entitled bastard, man.
killed Josen at the end of episode 4 in the
Mm-hmm.
most gruesome fashion.
Yeah.
Oh, it was terrible. So
I want to add that to a way of never wanting to die on my never wanting to die list.
yeah, I
So
don't want to be cannon fodder,
yeah,
quite literally. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
The way that he dressed, Toranaga just be dressing folks down. He said, "Look, yo,
Mm-hmm.
you was dumb.
Mm-hmm.
You do understand it that you got tricked into this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did what you call his nephew do? Did Yabushige's nephew like really hype you up to do this?"
Mm-hmm.
And he was sitting there like, "Oh, damn, he did."
Yeah, he was like, yeah,
Like
Yagashima's nephew, Omi, I think it's
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Omi's
yeah,
name.
yeah. Omi,
Yeah.
like, yeah. Omi really did this. And the fact that he said, you know what? You can't do the no, you're not on canon regiment no more. Hey,
Mm-mm.
Omi, come here, come
Omi.
here, come here. This your job now, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna take my son's job and give it to
Mm-hmm.
him. And the funny thing is when he goes back home and he's like, yo, Yabashige, I'm gonna give this to you. Yabashige's like, bro, how you gonna get something that was already mine? You know what I'm saying? Like it was hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Yabashige is so funny. And also, Toranaga told Yabashige to his face. It's like, look, fam, I know you playing both sides.
Mm-hmm.
I know you are. And Yabashige is like, hey, I'm Team Toranaga all day,
Yeah.
baby.
Because he
It's
told him,
it's me and you. What you talking
because
about?
what he tell her, he was like, come back. He says, come back to Osaka and pledge your allegiance to Ishido. And he was like, huh? She was looking, he basically told him what was in that letter that Josen had brought to him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, Yabashika's like, yo, man, how the hell
How does he know this?
how does he know this or whatever? Yeah. Yeah, and Toranaga just like, hey man, I know, bro. I'm not stupid. He's like, man, no, no, I'm not gonna go back. I'm team Toranaga, baby. You know what I'm saying? Throw them T's up,
Like
baby. I'm
cousin,
I'm
we
down.
fam. Come on
We
now.
fam or whatever. We ain't really fam, but we fam. You know
You
what I'm
my
saying?
fam. Come on now. You my
Uh,
people.
yeah.
Nah,
So
that was so funny, man. And funny. Yo, Shige so funny.
Mhm.
He told his boy, he said, "Hey man, you gotta go to Osaka." He's like, I said, "What?"
Yeah. And I
He
think
was
that's
like,
like his like I think that's like his right hand man to do with the eye patch or whatever. He was like, yeah, go to Osaka. And he looked at him like, the hell are you sending me to Osaka for? What
you know what it reminded me of? You know
what's that?
the joint with 50 Cent. He's like, me? What F me? What I gotta do
Yeah.
with me?
Yeah. 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 That's what
I
F
was
me.
weak,
I'm just
man.
here. What does that got to do with me?
No, man. Yo, so Toranaga, man, again, 3 steps ahead of everybody. Everybody's playing checkers. He got here playing 5-dimensional chess. And
On top
Yabashige's like, go ahead.
on top of that, we also see when Toranaga arrives with his army, you know what I'm saying? Our boy, the bully Buntaro,
Yo,
is
get to
still
him.
alive.
Gonna get to him in a second,
It's
boy.
still,
Um,
it's still, my boy's still alive. He made it out of, you know what I'm saying, Osaka and made it to Idaho, and he's riding hand in hand with Toranaga. But go ahead.
yeah, that was. I was like, oh yeah, I knew the man was still alive.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, because we ain't see him die. So,
Mm-hmm.
Yabashige is like, look, there's gotta be a spy somewhere. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? So they're not even going through people's houses and stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
then the person that is a spy, they went through his house too. He was like, dog, I'm just like I'm just a lowly person out here. I don't know what y'all
Mm-hmm.
talking about. And this man is smart. You know what I'm saying? So smart. We get back to him in a second as well. So I had to
Mm-hmm.
go run through the stuff. Toranaga, his trusty falcon kills a pheasant.
Mm-hmm.
And this damn pheasant is the focal point of this entire episode.
The bane of this episode's existence, for real.
Because white people being white people. So he takes a pheasant. He's like, oh man, Toranaga's my it's my people right here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He gifted me something because I
Yeah.
saved the day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he said,
Miracle. He tell because Miracle is talking to Toranaga, and Toranaga is asking her like, "Yo, did you know my son was gonna be a jackass? Did you know that he?" And she was like, "No,
hell
hell
no.
no, ain't none of us know that he was gonna do this or whatever." And he's like, "All right," and then she's like, "Hey, you still gonna stay at my man's house, right?" And then he was like, and I think she said something about her husband, and he said, "Oh, don't worry, he's gonna be there too."
You can entertain both of them.
You can
You know what I'm
entertain both.
saying?
Yeah, you say, yeah, you're gonna serve both of them at the
And
same
she
time.
was like,
I
oh,
said,
yo,
I done gave
I
this
don't
dude the
smash the white
cheeks.
man cheeks.
You smash my
Oh,
cheeks. I gotta go
oh
back to
my
this dude.
God. My husband is a crazy man
Yeah,
with no hair on the top of his head, but a
yeah,
ponytail.
yeah. And so
He's
he said, "Oh,
wild.
by the way, give this pheasant to Ajin as a say as a thank you for training. The military and stuff." And he's like, "Yeah, got this pheasant. What we gonna do is we gonna hang this thing and cure it and dry age it up
Guess
here."
looking
And
at him like, what
there was,
are you doing? He said, isn't it gonna go bad?
yeah,
And he was like, oh no, 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 no. Like we need it for a couple of days, you know what I'm saying? Just so we can age it up. I'm like, this dude is treating this pheasant like it's a damn piece of steak. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like he's trying to
yeah.
dry age some steak. I'm like, not
Yeah,
as
like that's a ham hock or something like saying or something like that.
he ain't
And you
putting
see,
it just was naked dead pheasant.
right? Well, no salt on it. Because
Nothing.
the
He
dry
ain't
age and to cure something, you have to put salt on it for preservation to keep all that moisture and stuff in. And you see the woman that's his basically the head of his house right there, Fuji, whatever. She's trying to communicate to him like, hey, like, and then she says,
that's a dumb idea. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
and so she looks at him and goes, and he was like, yes, it's gonna stink. He was excited about that. And then he says this this show has proven that I guess during this time period, the Japanese are literal, extremely literal.
them boys like on the spectrum literal.
They
You know
are
what I'm
like
saying?
they're like Vulcans, very literal from Star
Very good
Trek.
example.
You know, he says anybody takes that down, they die. No one touches that. And she's like, okay, all right then. And so that's, since I said that's like the bane is this. So throughout the episode, you see that pheasant just hanging there, and then you start to see flies gather on it, and it's stinking. And yeah, we'll come back to what happened with that pheasant.
Nah, so the funny thing was when Fuji goes back to the house, she says, "Look, give that man different everything. We don't eat nothing he eats. We don't touch our food. Doesn't touch his utensils. Give him good knives from whatever place, and we're not gonna intermingle.
We're not intermingling anything we do with this goddamn barbarian right here.
This idiot. So Buntaro comes in, and he was like, "Look, yo, I ain't Buntaro to you."
Yeah, he says, "Thank you, Buntaro." And then he's like, and this Miracle was like, yeah, he says that only his friends can call him Buntaro. You need to call him Lord, what's his name? Lord Toro or something like that.
Yeah,
Toro,
yeah.
Or whatever. And he's like, okay, well, I've heard you're such a great warrior, and this and that. And Buntaro is not here for this. He's just like, I'm only doing this because my Lord told me to do this. Toranaga told me that I have to stay here. I do not want to be here. I want to take my wife and I want to be in a different hut. I want to go home. I don't want to be anywhere near this dude. Or whatever. He was like, he kept calling him a barbarian. And then he said, and then he asked his wife, he was like, how have you been serving this barbarian? Have you been his pillow? And she's like, well, first of all, he's Hamamoto. And, and she said Hamamoto. And then she was like, he has taste for different women. That's what he said. Like he has.
Oh yeah. He asked that to he asked that to Fuji. He has that to Fuji.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
Right, he said it to Fuji because Fuji is his niece. We find that out on the show that's his, because she kept saying hello, uncle or whatever. He's like,
I'm like,
he's like, all right.
Like, does he got like old parents or something? Because like Fuji and Buntaro are like the same age. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it might be.
Yeah.
And then you see Buntaro's like, what is that smell? Is something dead in here? He's like,
something died here?
Something died in here? What is that smell?
Yo, when they go outside that next scene and like they had that exchange, Buntaro catches a fly in his hand. It's like,
yeah, that fly just you catch it. So then you see them get ready to have dinner, and they proceed to do the most idiotic man type stuff that we've ever, say that you possibly could see in the show. So they're sitting there and they're getting their noodles, and this is something that I do know about the Japanese culture, that things that in America we would consider to be disgusting or whatever, that is their way of saying the food is good or they're enjoying themselves. Like I know they say like belching at the table, like us, you like, hey man, cover your mouth, say excuse me, over here, over there. If they like that, like that lets the cook know and the people know that the food was good. And he was eating the noodles, and he was like kind of just saying, and he was like, look at him eating the noodles like a monkey. And then Blackthorne was like, hey man, what the hell he say? And then Miracle was like, he's commenting on the way you eat your noodles, like basically how you eat it. As you see Buntaro take that thing and give like a good old fashioned throat goat slurp on that daggone to slurp the noodles up. And so Blackthorne looks at him and is like, all right. And he does it even louder and harder. And he calls him a monkey again. Oh, the monkey learns fail. And so he knows he's talking trash. And so then Buntaro is drinking sake out of like a little small plate. I guess you could say almost, you would consider that like a shot of sake or whatever.
I mean, it's their normal serving.
Their normal serving of sake. And he takes it back. And then he's like, Blackthorne's like, really? Where I'm from, we take real drinks. Like,
he was like, He
bigger,
said,
and then and
little,
she's
little
like,
welcome, little girls drink out of little sauces like that. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
And so Miracle was like explaining to Blackthorne, like, yo, you drank it to enjoy the taste of it or whatever. I've had sake before, and sake is some powerful stuff. I just want to say, and we saw how powerful it was. Blackthorne took like a bowl and filled it up with sake, and I was like, and started drinking. Did you see all their faces though when he did that? They
It
were
was
looking
like,
like
yo,
this
this
white
white
man has
man
lost
is
his mind.
crazy.
Yeah, this
And I
white man
was
thinks.
like, I already know what he about to do. He
Mm-hmm.
about to get this man drunk
Mm-hmm.
because you already know, like he used to knocking him back like that. His tolerance is probably crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And he
He
a
is.
sailor too. This whole
Yeah.
stereotype. But
Probably
yo,
drinking rum and shit all over the
yeah,
place.
this just all across the seas, just drinking
Yeah.
away. But Buntaro was like, that boy a lightweight. They sipping while what's called is guzzling.
Yeah.
And I said, man, don't fall for it. And they out here having the most stereotypical penis measuring contest in
Mm-hmm.
life.
Mm-hmm.
And he's really trying to keep up with Blackthorne, and Blackthorne was just drinking him under the table. Got him
Mm-hmm.
drunk enough to get him to be honest. And I knew that was his whole plan. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it was funny to see, like the best part of the scene to me was he was like, yo, tell him about, him being a hero or whatever. Your man
Mm-hmm.
said, heroism is for dead people and stories
Yeah.
are for children. I
Mm-hmm.
said, oh,
I mean,
that's a bar.
I mean, yeah.
And
But
then
Taro
says,
said that. Mm-hmm.
it says, hey, give me my bow, and proceeds to shoot two arrows so accurately close to his wife's face
Mm-hmm.
while he was still drunk, just to let him know, even though I'm drunk,
I'm gonna
I
kill
can
him.
still accurately kill you.
Right,
Oh, it was so
because
good.
they were talking earlier about, he was like, Blackthorne was like, I hope you enjoyed the exhibition of the cannons and stuff. And he was, and my man Buntaro don't know no better because he ain't seen what them cannons did. Was
He
like,
said, look,
he said, look here. He said, a samurai, he says, a good samurai with a bow and arrow and his sword is better than any cannon you can imagine. And he's like, yeah, okay. And so, like, by this time they're drunk later, he shoots it, and he's like, pick a post at your main gate to shoot.
he was like,
And she's telling
right
her
post.
right post, and that's the one, that thing like went by his wife's nose, like, and he's like, yo, Miracle, would you duck, please, or move? And so that's when he basically, Blackthorne goes into like, yo, I understand that, over here, the women are like y'all property. You could do with them as you will, but you should still treat your women with respect. And Buntaro goes to be like, respect? Do you know who the hell she is? What her name is? And he's like, yo, tell him your name. And she's hesitant, and he's like, I said, tell him your name. And she goes to tell the story of her family. Because we saw in the last episode that she said that her family name, everyone in Japan knows her family name. But she doesn't go into detail. We see kind of a slight flashback. But this is what I gathered from the story that she told. The former, I guess you could say, emperor of Japan, before the one that, not the one that just passed away, the Toranaga, that's not him, but the one beforehand, her family served him, and her father killed him because she felt that he was a bad leader and a bad person. He was just leading the country wrong. He killed him and like some of his family, brothers and some of the sisters that are warriors and stuff. They killed him, and they all got captured. And the new Torana, that one that just passed away,
Taiko.
Taiko, excuse me, he rounded them all up and had her father kill all her brothers, kill all her sisters, kill his wife, and then made him perform seppuku on himself. And she said, the only reason that I'm alive is because I was married already and gone. And every year on the anniversary of the deaths, she has to ask her husband permission to die. And her penance is, no, I won't let you die. You're going to live. Because that's, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, they're honor bound in Japan like crazy. We saw that. And she felt that the only way to get honor back to her family if she killed herself. And he's like, no, you got to live to, you know, feel the brunt,
Feel all this grief.
all this
Yeah.
grief and brunt or whatever. And John Blackthorne is like, yo, what the hell is wrong with y'all people, man? Like, he's like, what the hell is wrong with you people here? And so you see a scene where he is passed out drunk as a skunk on the floor. But he hears, you know,
A little
commotion,
tussle.
commotion. He goes, and since that is his house, he goes in the room and he sees Mirako, you know, her nose bleeding. She, you know, saying she got slapped around by Buntaro. And like, Fuji won't gonna let him go in. She was kind of like, yo, I tried to stop him. And this that she said, but Buntaro already left. Man, Blackthorne saw that, and then Miracle was like, look, it's my fault that this happened. Yo, both of y'all leave me. Blackthorne, he had his other gun, and was like, yo, he called him by his name, Buntaro! You know, and then he was like, yo, like, what, man, what you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, how you gonna, you know, this and that. And so Buntaro turns around, he takes his sword, drops it down on the ground, places it before him, and he bows down. And he's like, no, man, get up. And he's like, and he's saying something to him. He's basically, Buntaro's talking to him, but he don't really fully understand him. The only word he understood was sake. And he was like, no, man, don't try to blame that on the sake. He said, you daggone really did that. And he was just like, sake. Basically, he was like, I apologize for dishonoring your house, for bringing, what do you say, discourse or whatever.
Yeah, not disturbing
harmony in your house. You know what I'm saying? I apologize. And Blackthorne is like really pissed off about this because basically Buntaro just slapped up his new girl that, you know, saying that he considered his or whatever. So that's, you know, saying that arc that's going on, you know, saying that's going on there. Also, the next morning, Blackthorne, he goes to look for Mirako. He finds her off by herself and he's talking to her. And he's like, yo, why don't you just leave? I know, he says, I seen the look in your eye. You hate him. Why are you still? And she's like, look here, yo. Like, she's basically letting him know, like, this ain't England, bro. And this ain't no, oh, I can leave my husband anytime, you know what I'm saying? Anytime I want type stuff. And she's like, look, it's a wrap between you and me. The only thing that you and me gonna be is what she said, the only time that we're gonna speak is when I am interpreting for you. That's the only time we're gonna speak. So you got, you know, that going on. And then Blackthorne is walking back to his house and he sees people bowing to him and they're crying. And he walks in and he's like, hey, man, what the hell is everybody crying and stuff for? And Fuji is just sitting there and she just points to where the pheasant was. Because like I said, the pheasant had flies and stuff gathered all around it. And he's like, yo, what happened? And she basically says like the gardener's name or whatever, like Yuji or something like that.
I don't remember.
Whatever. He takes he took the pheasant down because like a magistrate of this town or something was like, hey, yo, get that thing out of here. It sucks. And so the gardener removed the pheasant and buried it. But Fuji killed him. And he's like, wait a minute. Why did you kill him? And she's like, you told us, like, anybody. And he's like, yo, are you serious? Like, once again, Blackthorne's like, what is wrong with you people? Like, he was like, he died over a pheasant that had flies on it. And you killed, and she was like, well, you said, like, he was like, no, he shouldn't have died for this or whatever. So that was that little arc there.
Oh yeah, real quick. It's funny because every time they talk about the house, they use this term. It said it looks like hold on, let me go back to it. Like Tataragami, which means
Mm-hmm.
like a bad spirit.
Right.
So
And she kept saying too that Makira saying this house is cursed. She had said it a few times.
yeah, in between that time, that whole thing going on, can't
Mm-hmm.
forget that the spy goes
Yes.
back to talk to Toranaga. He was like,
where they're hiding the pigeons at.
yeah. So he says, look, man, they looking for a spy. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? And he was like, well, do you want me to get myself up? He was like, uh, no, you're
No.
my prize samurai.
Yep.
Why would I do that? You're my people. He
Yeah.
was like,
He made him say his government name. I'm gonna
yeah.
give it to you in 1 second. Wait, Rashad.
He was like, look, no, it's what you're gonna do. You're gonna go find it. You're gonna make him go find another spy. You know what I'm saying? Which leads us to like a really cool, like at the end of this the end of this episode, yo, so good. Like everybody's chilling on the mountainside, you know what I'm saying, with Toranaga, and you see um Mariko and Anjin,
Mm-hmm.
Blackthorne, and they're talking. And Blackthorne is trying to really understand why he's still here. He feel like I did my part. I would want to go home. I don't never want to come back to this godforsaken place with these crazy customs and people and this
Mm-hmm.
culture that I don't understand. Even though I was getting some cheeks earlier, the cheeks turned on me, and it's time for me to go home to my baby boo. You know what I'm saying? So it's he's really upset. On
Mm-hmm.
top of that, um
The guy's name, he's going by Murajai,
yeah.
but Toranaga was like, "You are Tanamoto Akiano. You are my best samurai warrior. You gonna keep doing what you do." And that's when you like,
Oh, this man out here playing the lowly and lonely bum is
mm-hmm.
really not only is he a spy, but he's like a sleeper cell.
Yeah,
He's out here like trying to be activated like the Winter Soldier. You know what I'm
you're
saying?
right. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so they're on the mountainside and they're talking, and in the distance, it's like this rumbling,
And you see the
and
birds
you
flying
see the
too.
birds flying out of the way, and then you just see like a rush, and then you see like the earth trembling. I said,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, another earthquake."
Cause
And
remember,
then,
Blackthorne experienced his first one last episode.
oh,
He
he was
was like,
scared
"Yo,
as
what
hell.
the hell was that?" She's like,
Scared. That
"Oh,
was an
they
earthquake.
happens all the time here."
You know what I'm saying? And then it also goes back to the other episode when Monaco said, "Look, we built like this, so we're so used to having tragedy, so we can rebuild quickly."
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like we ain't building it to last. We just building these so we can have somewhere to stay.
Yeah.
And then out of nowhere, avalanches,
Mm-hmm. Landslides.
landslides, daggone, the ground is breaking. And as they're talking, they're trying to gain their footing. You see men just like disappearing. And all of a sudden, Toranaga, he gets slipped up and he starts to fall, and the ground breaks and he gets crashing into the ground. They go
Mm-hmm.
after him, they find him, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Him and Blackthorne have
Mm-hmm.
like this kind of like almost is like come to Jesus meeting for them. And he's
Mm-hmm.
like, all right, yo, man, you back on my side now. Cause
Yeah.
like Toranaga is so shocked. And then the fact that he basically gets him out of this dirt and sees
Mm-hmm.
his white man face, he just starts
Mm-hmm.
laughing because like, yo, this dude is always at the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
You know what
And
I'm
then too,
saying?
you see that Toranaga had lost his swords and that, and Miracle's like your swords, and basically Blackthorne takes his swords that he had, the ones that Fuji gave, and gave them to Toranaga, being like, "Hey, these were Fuji's father's swords or whatever, and therefore, therefore, for you." Because we also found out too that Fuji didn't know. I think it's something with her father that she didn't know that those swords were like disgrace. He's
Yeah. What's called a told him.
Buntaro.
No, Mariko told him that like
Yeah, yeah, like yo,
basically,
her father. He had to see.
yeah,
He
her
had.
family was like the sword, he sold the real swords.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like he was basically like his dad is a pussy. And
Yeah.
he ain't had no honor. He found
Yeah.
like he found the swords from a blacksmith and just told her
Uh-huh.
this story just to appease her
Yeah.
feelings, which is the funny thing because he was
And
like
bought him
basically
for 3 bags of rice. That's wow.
not
Japanese
even
steel.
not the still of the century. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That dude was hungry. So the funny part of that is like she gives us this like not even dichotomy, just like how the relationships work, especially with the women. She says,
Mm-hmm.
"Look, we don't tell this to her because she needs our silence." You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? And then basically he was like, "I'm gonna go keep on going with my wife. I mean, with my husband because that's what he needs from me." And this is how this works. And like culturally, you don't understand this, and nor does it seem like you accept this.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And that's really where the true divide is
Mm-hmm.
with Blackthorne and just being in feudalistic Japan.
And why
So,
he's like, yo, I want to look, I did my thought. Can I get the hell out of here and not come back? Or whatever.
so as they're realizing that Toranaga is alive, they then look
Mm-hmm.
down at the village. And the village is, it's just a hot ass mess, man. Like
Yeah.
people dead, fires.
Mm-hmm.
It's some houses that have just been, toppled by debris and stuff.
Fuji got
Um,
injured.
yeah, who's got injured, And we also see our spy.
Mm-hmm.
Our spy says, "Man, yo, yeah, who's live here?" The spy put the stuff in the gardener's
Yeah.
house that they killed and said, "Oh man, yeah, this was where the gardener lived, yo."
Yeah, he
And
died
he
yesterday.
died. He died though. Yabashiki's like, "Yeah, let me glad he already
Let me
died."
glad he dead.
And
Don't
like,
know
yeah,
me.
yeah,
You're an idiot.
exactly.
Idiot.
So they played that whole thing off. There's a callback to the beginning of the episode with the gardener, and 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 Blackthorn. He says you gotta have something else in the garden. He had
Mm-hmm.
this big rock in there and just moving
Mm-hmm.
it. He said it gotta be more than just
Just
than than, than
plants
the
and
flowers.
flowers.
Gotta have basically create balance or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see my inner episode pushing that same rock back up, trying to help them rebuild and bring back balance to the town.
And the final thing that we need to talk about.
Yes.
So going on in Osaka, this is in the first part of the episode. I'm just putting this together from the first part and what happened at the end. You have the regents that came together that was trying to vote Toranaga out, and
They
they were
can't.
like, they just can't. The other dudes are like, we're gonna impeach him. And Ishida was like, hey, we can't. It's only 4 of us. And so they start to kind of be like, well, let's just replace him. They picked what they said one guy named. Ishida was like, yeah, he's an idiot. We're not gonna put him you're not gonna put him to be a regent. And then that one that's the Christian samurai dude, he said, well, what about this? And he was like, yeah, there'll be too many Christians on this regency or whatnot. And then I want to know more about that deformed looking one, the one who got his face like it's hacked up and stuff like that. So
Like he had leprosy or
yeah,
something.
leprosy or something. He mentions a name. He mentions a name, and then one in the other regions like, man, that dude, he said, I'd rather kill myself than have to follow this guy. He's so. And then Ishida was like, yo, that's your man's cousin. Like,
Yeah, like he's so ugly. It's almost like his whole family's deformed or something. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
he's like, that's that man's cousin. He's like, oh, yeah. So that's happened. They're just trying to figure out who's going to be the regent. The end of the episode shows that Ochiba was the concubine of the previous head emperor, the one that gave birth to the heir.
Yeah.
She finally reaches Osaka because remember that was the thing that they said that we saw in the first 1 or 2 episodes where Ishida was like, yo, she needs to come back to Osaka with the heir. And the heir is a little kid, and he meets his mom there. It's like, hey, mom, blah, 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 this and that. And he's excited to see it. And then Ishido goes to visit her. And he's telling her like, "Oh, it's so great that you're back, this and that, blah 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 blah." And she looks at him and says, "Yeah, so I hear y'all looking for another regent." And he's like, "Yeah, but, you know." She's like, "No, no, no, no. What's going to happen is this: y'all are going to basically tell me and listen to everything I say as far as how this is going to be run. I'm curious to see how this is going to happen because we know that she is somebody's relative, if I'm not mistaken. I think she's like the sister or cousin to Toranaga's wife, if I'm not mistaken.
Something like
Something
that.
like that. But also, she was with Toranaga. So my thing is she still on Toranaga's side, or is she out for her own thing, or is she on some Cersei Lannister type stuff, looking out for her kid because the kid is the heir? Because remember, Ashido said, "I'd give my life for the heir." Oh, I don't want to speak too fast on that, bro, because you might actually be having to do that. And the episode ends on that. Once again, another stellar episode by this show. We got 5 episodes left, y'all. Me and Rashad was talking about this earlier, that I just realized this week that this is a mini series. This isn't a series. So there's a possibility that this only be one season.
This is it.
And it's a shame that if it is that, but also I just like good television, and it's giving me, it's giving me good television. And if you're not watching this, if this is your first time watching this, please go back, watch the other videos that we've done on this. But this is great TV, and this is a show that me and Rashad have been looking forward to see ever since last October, when we first saw a trailer or two about this, and this came out, and this has not let us down one bit.
Nah, definitely probably the best show I've seen so far this year in regards to TV. And I just finished watching The Gentleman on Netflix. It's a very different show. It's like Guy Ritchie, executive producer. It's very Guy Ritchie. You know what I'm saying? But we'll talk about that another day. But yeah, that's it for this, man. Again, love Shogun. I hope y'all on this, man. Like if you've been on this with us, we appreciate you guys, especially on YouTube. Wish they would actually push some of this stuff out on the other platforms, but this ain't ranking nowhere for me. So Doom content it is. But yeah, we will see you guys next week with this one, man. That's all we got. Like I said, on the other one, X-Men 97.
Yes.
Go watch our review on that. Next week we will be watching Godzilla X Kong, Lost Empire, and a couple weeks from now, Bad Batch. A couple of episodes review. So much stuff. So much stuff. I feel like we were really eating people. You know what I'm saying?
Also, check out our review of the trailer for The Acolyte or whatever.
June 4th.
June 4th to check that out.
Yeah, we had a whole conversation about that too. So yeah, check out the stuff, man. You should be subscribed. If you just listen this long, you're a real MVP, like you used to say. And you should also be subscribed to all the stuff. TikTok, IG, FB if you're nasty, and also first and foremost on YouTube. Spotify for podcasts if you want to hear the audio. I'm sorry, I kind of forgot to put this up here the last 2 weeks, but as soon as I get off, I'm going to put this up here as well. But yeah, that's all the time we got for today. Till the next time, people.
Peace out, y'all.